The biggest mistake people make is they think it won't happen to them. They leave their decision to the last minute, they jump in their car, they get caught on the road, they get trapped in their car and they die.
If you've made the decision to stay and a fire is approaching, now is the time to act. Make sure anyone who is staying to actively defend your property is dressed in clothing appropriate to protect them from radiant heat, smoke and embers. Locate your bushfire survival kit. Tune your radio to emergency broadcasters ABC or 5AA and have spare batteries handy. Also make sure you've got plenty of drinking water, as it'll be extremely hot.
Remember, you'll also need to have your firefighting equipment ready to go. You'll need a ladder for access to roof gutters and into roof spaces, a torch for moving safely inside your roof space, hoses and fittings, a rake and strong buckets, a wet mop for putting out embers and small fires, and a diesel independent firefighting pump and hose as an alternative supply to mains water. A new telephone and text message warning system for residents at risk of bushfires has also been introduced. The multi-million-dollar system will allow alerts to be sent by voice and text messages to the location of landlines and mobile phones based on an owner's billing address within the geographic area under threat. Authorities are keen to stress that while valuable, this is no silver bullet to the problem of adequately warning the public and should be considered more as an extra tool to help get the message out and should not be relied on in isolation.
You need to keep your eyes and ears open. Be on the lookout for smoke on the horizon or the smell of smoke. Often in the first half hour of a fire, it's almost impossible for authorities to get a clear picture of what's happening and get that information out to the community. And depending on the ferocity of the fire, by then it might be too late.
Burning embers will go in front of the main fire, sometimes many kilometres in front of the main fire. If you've got a weak point in your bushfire preparation, these embers will find it. Embers are a very significant factor that needs to be planned for. Good housekeeping, good preparation, good design of your house shields against ember attack.
In the face of an approaching bushfire that you believe you have the ability to protect your home from, block your downpipes. A sock full of sand will help, and fill gutters with water. Remove flammable outdoor furniture, doormats and hanging baskets. Remove curtains from windows. Use wet towels under doorways to prevent embers and smoke entering. Close and tape windows. Fill the bath and any buckets or containers with water for a quick and accessible water supply.
Nobody wants to face a bushfire, but if you've made the decision to stay on your property and defend it, you need to make sure you have all of the equipment and the mental and physical preparation to enable you to do so. You'll find more details and helpful hints on the CFS website. Next, we'll take a look at some of the critical issues when it comes to facing a bushfire and making sure you survive.
People are more important than property. Your priority is to make sure that you and your family survive.
Most people have died in bushfires because they've left too late and been trapped and burnt in their cars or on foot. Fallen trees and power lines, poor visibility and blocked escape routes all add to the tragic toll. Fewer lives will be lost if people who choose to leave do so well before a bushfire threatens. One of the less understood killers in the face of a bushfire is invisible radiant heat, not only the visible and terrifying flames. Bushfires produce an enormous amount of radiant heat, and you need to understand how radiant heat affects you to be able to take precautions to protect yourself.
Radiant heat is the sort of heat you feel when you're standing around a campfire, or the heat from a radiant heater, or perhaps the heat from a cooktop or a barbecue. But in the case of a bushfire, that heat can be up to 50,000 times more intense.
Radiant heat kills. The best protection from radiant heat is to put a long distance between yourself and the fire, put a wall or some other shield between yourself and the radiant heat. So the important thing is to shelter from the radiant heat, shelter in a building, shelter in a refuge, shelter somewhere where you can protect yourself from the effects of that radiant heat. Radiant heat will kill.
One of the keys to your survival may also be just how physically and emotionally strong you are to face a bushfire. Don't underestimate just how emotional and traumatic it might be. Surrounded by dense smoke, intense heat, the deafening roar of flames and waves of burning embers, and the fear of not knowing exactly what's happening. Physically, you also have to be fit enough to cope with what could be a very long, intensive and exhausting fight. Now, people obviously can survive some bushfires, others though you will never beat. Our message this year is clear. You need to do everything you can to prepare, act and survive. So for your family's sake, please take the time to be ready. We hope you found this information helpful. Watch it with your family and talk about it. You'll find plenty more information on the CFS website at cfs.sa.gov.au. Thank you for watching. Stay safe.